This is Dr. Gigi Savat, and you're listening into the Walk With Me podcast. My guest today is Tori. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. It's such an honor to have you here today. Now, can you start off by telling us a little bit more about you and where are you from, Tori?
I'm from Miami originally. When I was 17, I believe, we moved up here to Palm Coast. We've been here for a couple years now. Um, and about me, I'm in college now. I'm majoring in social work. The plan is to transfer and get my addiction counseling license.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I
You're
want to
welcome.
work in adolescents rehabilitation centers as a counselor. And outside of that, I do open mic nights for poetry. I try to go every Monday. I really want to get my writing to take off. I'm a big writer
You
and a
write
big
poetry?
reader. Yeah.
Nice. I do as well. Yes.
Yeah. And there's not much else to me. I live a much simpler life now.
I love it. Yes, and I'm actually from South Florida. So long story short, back then we would say Miami because people, we used to say Coral Springs, which is where I
Mm-hmm.
was born, and the crickets would come out. But
Mm-hmm.
nowadays people are more prone to know where that is. So you say Coral
Yeah.
Springs, oh, okay, it's South Florida, yes. Uh, but essentially Miami just made it easier to so
Yeah.
folks knew the area. But nonetheless, glad you're here as well. This is actually my hometown, Palm Coast. It's a great
Mm-hmm.
town. How do you like it?
I love it. It was a big adjustment. It's definitely a very different like culture, just a lot slower over here than it is in Miami.
True. Yeah.
But I think it's very peaceful. I think it's what I needed when we moved.
I agree. So you mentioned that you're a poet as well, which is awesome. So what inspired you to write poetry?
I've been writing since I was little. I've always been a very big reader,
Mhm.
and whenever I read things, I would just get inspired to write things. And then when I started kind of growing up and like going through more things in life, my biggest outlet was always writing. Um, I love everything about writing. I love everything about reading. I think that at my core, I'm a writer, and I do believe that one day, like I will be a name, like a writer that everyone
Right.
knows.
Yeah, I love it. And we're actually doing a poetry book that's coming out soon. Yeah, you and I should talk. And I'd love to check out your poems as well. We actually have a third annual global poetry competition coming up here as well. And yeah, I love poetry for the same reasons you mentioned as well. But if you were to tell me they would come to the forefront, I would tell you, oh wow, yeah. But and that's our God, right?
Mm-hmm.
He has different plans, right? So essentially, some folks will say, well, I write in the background or in a room, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who would have thought it's now in the forefront?
Yeah.
And so, like I said, your voice matters. If you're listening to this message today and you write poetry, your voice matters. Yes, you, I believe in you. Now, Tori, you have tattoos,
I
right?
do.
Yeah,
I
let's
do.
talk about your tattoos. Can you tell us a little bit more about your tattoos?
So I think I have 23 or 22. A lot of the tattoos I have are like little ones that I did when I was younger. I did my first like stick and pokes when I was
Oh,
13.
well.
Everyone said they're only gonna last a couple years and then they'll fade, but I'm 20 now and you think I got them done yesterday. But the 444 tattoo, I got that on my finger when I was 14. 444 is my angel number. 444 represents that you're being guided and protected in everything that you do. Um, I 444 is the angel number I see the most. I've had a lot of different situations in life where I've
Mhm.
been ready to give up and like ready to make a rash decision, and all of a sudden I'll look at the microwave or I'll look at the clock and it's 444, and every time it's like almost comical. I'm like,
Wow.
okay, I'm like, I understand.
Is that your
Um,
favorite number?
it is,
Four.
and it's been
Okay.
because it's what I've seen the most for a very long time. When I went to rehab when I was 17, I was my first night there and I was angry at myself, angry at the world. Like I had
Oh,
never felt so frustrated and I couldn't sleep. So I went out to the kitchen area to make a piece of bread and I look at the microwave and it's 444. And I'm like sitting at the kitchen counter like laughing. I'm like, okay, like I guess
wow.
I'll keep going.
Yes.
Um, and then this tattoo, it's Mother Mary and it says empathy. I actually got this. I was in
Can you
a
show the viewers
oh
the?
yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
was in a very emotionally abusive relationship for a couple years,
I'm so
and
sorry you had to go through that. I went through something similar. So
mhm.
sorry.
And at the time I had been diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. I've since been undiagnosed, but I was diagnosed, and this person that I was in the relationship with, they said that I'm incapable of feeling any empathy because of my disorder, which if you like know me is like such an insane thing to say. And I just wanted to get it tattooed, and I thought that Mother Mary was a good visual to have with it. My favorite tattoos, though, are these two. They're Imani and Omara. They were two of my very good friends that passed
Oh,
away from overdoses.
so sorry. My condolences.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I love that they're right there on my wrist. It like feels like they're right next to me.
Right. I lost a friend to an overdose as well, actually. So I
Hmm.
know the feeling. Yeah.
Yeah. Lead with love. Um, I got that kind of right after cancer when I had finally been into remission. I'm not sure where I heard it, but I just really love that sentiment, lead with love.
You mentioned cancer, so
Hmm.
can you tell us a little bit more about your cancer journey?
Hmm. So I believe I was 18. I kind of just turned 18, maybe. Or well, I turned 19 in the hospital, so I was 18. And I had really bad stomach issues for like a week. And I kept telling my parents, as I have a very high pain tolerance. So when I came out to them and I told them I was like, I need to go to the ER, they like freaked out and they took
Oh,
me to the ER. The doctors did some like tests and stuff, and they said, you're just constipated. And they sent me back home. And then 2 nights after that, I had like fallen to my knees, like my stomach hurt so bad. And I went into the ER again and they did different blood work. And then I felt so bad. It was a young doctor that
mm,
had to come out and tell me the news. Like, I don't think that he had had to do that before. He's very
oh,
young. And he came out and he sat down and he said that he had found, I don't remember the exact words, but
mm,
like cancer in my blood. And I like literally remember my dad's face
mm,
when the guy said that. Like, my dad looked like he was in shock. I had never seen him look like that before. And he said that I had to go straight to the hospital. Like I couldn't leave. I had like an urgent matter.
right,
And I started freaking out because they said I couldn't go home. I had to be transferred in an ambulance. And that once I got to the hospital, Mayo Clinic, I was gonna have to stay there for 30 days, like without leaving. And in retrospect, it's very much like kind of, I don't want to say dumb because how I felt was how I felt in the moment, but I didn't want to do that because I felt like I was being put in rehab again.
right.
Like I felt like I was being like kind of forcibly like put somewhere that I didn't want to stay. And so I was like so angry and fighting and overwhelmed and frustrated, and I still ended up going. And then when I got there, one of the first people that came was my sponsor, and she was there like day in and day out, just staying with me and like calling me stupid for wanting to leave because I would lose my life. Um, and yeah, I don't remember a lot. I don't have a lot of memories during my chemo journey at all, really. I'm very good at detaching from situations when they're uncomfortable. Um, but I did 4 rounds of chemo. I was supposed to need a bone marrow transplant.
Mm.
That's actually how I met my biological sisters
Oh,
because I'm
wow.
adopted.
Mm,
And my mom had reached out to my foster care and had found my sisters because they all went and got tested to see if they'd be a match for my bone marrow, and they weren't. Um, and so they wanted to do a bone marrow transplant. We were waiting for me to find a match. I kept saying I don't want a bone marrow transplant because the bone marrow transplant was in my opinion a much harder healing process than the chemo
right.
was. And I would have had to stay 30 minutes from the hospital for 3 months. So we would have had to like rent somewhere to live because we live an hour from Jacksonville and Mayo. And I said, like, there's really no other option. And they said, we can try one more round of chemo, but
Yeah.
we recommend the bone marrow. And I said, I want to try one more round of chemo. So we did the last round of chemo. And after that, I ended up going into, they don't call it a remission yet. I forget what it is they call it, but they do all these deep tests and stuff every month that I go there, and
Right.
there's no detection of the cancer. I believe that it has to be a certain amount of years with no detection for them to call it an official remission. But while I was in the hospital, I re-enrolled in high school and ended up finishing my diploma,
Very good.
and then set everything up to enroll in college. And yeah, I mean, cancer it's a very weird thing for me to talk about because I am so detached from it, but also
Mm,
it has such a significant impact on who I am now. Besides that, it was even cancer.
right.
If I would have never gotten cancer, I do believe that I would have never gotten sober, and I don't think I would have ever gone back to high school to get my diploma, and I don't think I would have ever started going to college after. It kind of put a lot of things into perspective for me, and it's funny because when I was younger, I had this like thing that I would say all the time, and I don't know where it came from, but I would always say, if I ever get cancer or if
Right.
my dad ever dies, I'll just do heroin until it kills me. And then 18 years old was when I was like, I think I want to get clean. And then I got cancer, and I was like, oh,
Oh,
okay.
and now you're
Like,
clean.
yeah, it kind of felt like a test to me, or like just a very revealing situation,
Yes.
showed me a lot.
That's incredible. Just the transformation here and just your faith and also to your resilience. I love it. What message do you have for an individual who is going through their own cancer journey right now?
I would say just think about all the things that you're going to do once you heal. I used to spend the whole day in my bed in the hospital just making lists, a different list of places I wanted to go, movies I wanted to see, food I wanted to try. And I ended up doing all of that when I got out. I think that going through cancer, it feels like your life is at a hard stop. And I think that the best thing you can do is focus on the outcome from when it's finished. And you fought for your life and you'll be able to live it once you're done.
Wow. Amen. I agree 100%. And so I actually lost friends to cancer and also loved ones as far as family goes. So I know how it is, right? And we've done events on cancer as well. I think that it's important not just to raise awareness, but educate about cancer and folks such as yourself, right? Your voices matter. And actually, I have a friend of mine's right now going through cancer. And so just standing by her side as well as she's going through this. So like I said, my heart goes out to you, and I just so appreciate you and what you're doing on the front lines. But you do have other tattoos, right? So you wanted to show us
Oh
as well?
yes. My this is one of my favorite ones too. It says mind, body, and spirit. So right after my remission and everything, I started to get really into like fitness and physical
Oh,
activity.
nice. That's where we met,
Yeah,
working
yep.
out together. Yes.
It was a fun process because I didn't have an identity for many, many years. I was just an addict and that was it. I had no like aspirations or goals really. And so when I finished chemo and I was sober, I kind of like really had to figure out what it is that I enjoyed doing and
Right.
kind of like build my identity and who I was and what I liked. And I started going to this yoga place by my house that I absolutely love so
Nice. I
much.
love yoga as
Oh my
well.
gosh, it's
Wow.
amazing. Like the feeling never gets old of like
Right.
walking out of a yoga class. But I went there a couple times and there was a teacher and she's like my favorite teacher there and she says this thing in every class and goes, um, mind, body, and spirit. Is your mind aligned? Is your body aligned? Is your spirit aligned? And I just really loved it. So I went and I got it tattooed and I showed it to her and it was a really sweet moment.
That's awesome.
Hmm. And then it will not be in vain. That's just kind of I got that because I couldn't stop thinking about my friends that had passed away. And I think that because I have goals to kind of be a speaker of sorts and spread awareness
Right.
about addiction.
We should talk then. Just
Hmm.
to help folks with that. Yes.
And it will not be in vain. You know, I
Right.
feel like those lives lost aren't going to be for nothing. And I think that
Oh,
the fact that I was one of the lucky ones that was able to keep going and decide to like make a life for herself, I think it really means something. You know, I don't take anything about my life for granted anymore. I think that there's definitely a purpose that I'm here for.
yes, God has a purpose for your life. And are there other tattoos or that's about it?
That's about it. I mean, the rest of them. Oh, I have a tattoo on my back. I don't know if I'll be able to show it.
Yeah, you're good.
It's quite big, but it is the Serenity Prayer. Do you know what the Serenity Prayer is?
Tell us more about it. Yeah.
It goes, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Amen.
And I've known that prayer for years and years and years. When I was out of religion and before I was into religion, they say that prayer at the end of every NA meeting. And I've always loved it. I think it's the perfect prayer for anybody.
Right.
I do.
I love it. Now, what message do you have for an individual who feels stuck today?
Um, my message would be to think about the past times you felt stuck and acknowledge how you were able to get out of them and acknowledge that it's okay to feel stuck sometimes.
That's right.
I think that's a part of human nature. We all get stuck. And think about how you've been stuck before and you didn't stay stuck. I think sometimes when I feel stuck, I feel like it's going to be that way forever.
And it's not going to
And
be.
I have to literally look back at times where I was like, I keep a letter on my bulletin board and it's like an envelope with a letter inside and it says things that I thought were at the end of the world but weren't. And it's just a list of all these things that I've been able to get through when I quite literally thought I would never be able to get through them.
Right. And there is hope. There is a light at the end of the tunnel.
Hmm,
Yes.
always.
Yes. And going back to what we said earlier, so we met working out here at Good Vibes in Palm Coast, Florida. And with Misty Ritchie, she leads the group, Beautiful Soul.
Hmm.
So tell us a little bit more about your experience as far as the workouts on Saturday morning goes.
I love the workouts. My favorite thing about the Good Vibes community in general is that it's a community, you know?
Yes, likewise.
Like all the events and everything. I think it's just a lovely way of connection to have.
Yeah,
And everyone in here is so sweet and everyone is so respectful and everyone has good conversation.
that's right.
A lot of times when I was going through harder times, I would come to Good Vibes and I would just sit on the couch and read a book just because I like wanted to be in.
Oh, you love to read as well.
I do,
Yes. What's your
yes.
favorite book?
My favorite book, it's called Girl in Pieces by Kathleen Glasgow. It's
Nice.
definitely one of the like less advanced books I've read. I don't know if that's the right way to say it,
What's your
but
favorite part about that book? Like, where's your favorite segment?
I just think it's a beautiful story.
Got
I
it.
just think it's a beautiful story. I ended up reading all of her books after that.
Wow.
Um, I'm trying to broaden my reading spectrum because I tend to only read books about addicts or addiction or like people going through some kind of like trauma. I don't know why. Those are just the books that I enjoy reading, but I'm trying to broaden the spectrum a little bit.
Wow. Incredible. I love to read as well, so I definitely understand you. And you mentioned that you're in school now. How many years do you have left?
Three, yeah.
3 years.
If I don't, I would love to get another degree, in nutrition and things of that nature because I would also like to get my eating disorder counseling license.
Okay. You have a eating disorder now? As we
Me?
speak? Yes.
Yeah, well, I've had an eating disorder for, well, since I was like very, very little, but I would want to get that certification so that I could be a counselor for eating disorders and for addiction. I also think that's a very frequent code disorder diagnosis.
Yes, thank you so much for being vulnerable and transparent and sharing that. What message do you have for an individual who is currently going through an eating disorder as well?
I mean, eating disorders are really hard. Your mind is constantly playing tricks on you. I still struggle. The eating disorder is probably the only thing that I struggle with anymore. Um, I think that the biggest thing with an eating disorder is that you have to accept that your mind is not really going to let you be happy with how you look. You have to acknowledge the irrational thought and you just have to let it pass.
That's powerful.
You give it no recognition.
That's powerful. Thank you so much, Shori. And what gives you the most joy?
The most joy,
Yes.
probably my cats.
Oh,
Yeah.
how many cats do you have,
I
Tori?
have two.
Two cats.
I really want more, but oh, sorry.
Okay, not a problem.
I really want more, but I don't want to mess up their like environment, you know?
Yes. What are their names?
Oh my gosh, okay, so one is named Kodak, like
Okay.
Kodak Black, and the
Yes,
other is
with a K.
Snoopy.
Okay.
And the other is Snoopy, like Snoop Dogg. I
Okay.
got them when I was going through treatment. I was deathly allergic to cats growing up, but I always wanted them. I'm not a dog person. I think dogs are like really loud and like they're like a lot.
Yes.
But I could never get a cat because I was so allergic. But every time I saw a cat, like I'd be all over it. And so I think I eventually ended up with kind of like desensitizing my allergies.
Right.
And I was going through chemo. I was like, guys, I want a cat. You can't really say no. So they finally got
So
me
you
a
got two
cat.
cats. Yes.
I just started taking them for walks. I got them a little vest because they love going outside. We have a little hammock and I bring them outside and like lay with them. So I was like, you guys love it out here. So I started taking them for walks in a little cat vest thing.
Yeah, that's really nice. I used to have a cat as well, and actually my poet name as well, Spectacular. But I'm actually planning on getting a dog, a golden retriever in the future.
Oh,
So
golden retrievers are nice.
I know I'm super excited, fired up. There's a timing for everything, you know. But anyhow, so what is your best advice to the audience for walking with purpose and living a life of happiness?
Walking with purpose and living a life with happiness. Walking with purpose, I think you have to find your purpose. It, I always thought it was really corny. They used to make us do these worksheets in rehab and in psych wards of like, who am I? Like your identity. And I was like, this is corny. But I quite literally did that when I like started getting my life together. Like, what do I like? What do I dislike? You know?
Love that.
Um, I think that some purposes can be really simple and some can be really complex. And I think that they're both the same value. I think it's just about looking back and understanding what you would want to change in the world and, you know, doing something with that and living with happiness. I think is also looking back and really being present in your body and in your experiences.
Yes.
You know, I do monthly audits where like life audits where
Very good.
I like ask myself questions like, what are some things you did this month that you feel like did not benefit you on the path you want to be on? And like, what are some things you did do this month that you want to do more? You know, things like that. I think happiness sometimes has to be intentional. I don't think that you can always just stumble onto happiness. I think that once you cultivate a life that you're happy living, like then you kind of live out that happiness, if that makes sense.
No, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it's actually very powerful. So thank you
There's
so
this
much.
quote that I love that says, if somebody was watching a movie of you living your day-to-day life, but they believe that your actions are aligning with the beliefs you have.
Mm,
And I like that a lot.
yeah, well said. Very powerful. Thank you so much for sharing. And so we challenge you all to answer that question, right? Answer that question that Tori just asked there. And yes, thank you so much. Now, Tori, do you have any last words for the audience?
Um, I don't think so. I think I've said it all. I think that the whole thing about life is to experience everything that you can and embrace all the changes that you can. I think life is what you make it, which is like a little corny quote, but I think that's definitely true.
But it is true. Yes.
You make your own mindset, you do what you can out of certain situations and circumstances. When I was younger, I used to always say that it was perfectly valid of me to give up on life because I was handed like a bad deal of cards. Like it wasn't fair to me. Like I should just give up. Da da da
I'm
da.
glad that you didn't give up.
But you make your own excuses. You know, once you reach a certain age, your life is completely in your hands, and you make of it what you want to.
Right. Very powerful. And Tori, where can the audience find you?
On Instagram, it's Tori's Revenge with two E's. And I don't really have any other platforms.
Okay. Thank you so much, Tori. Such an honor to have you as a guest.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. God bless.